Hello Sagittarius, welcome to my channel. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for watching, liking, sharing and subscribing. I hope you enjoy the insights here. This is a general reading. Please take what works for you. It may also apply to someone who is close to you at this time. If you have strong influences in your birth chart associated with another sign, please feel free to cross-watch for further insights. I have shuffled and laid out the cards. I work with the 12 houses of the zodiac, so as the cards are appearing in each house, then those are the influences that are coming to bear at this time. So, in the first house we have Yod, Destiny. So the first house is everything to do with yourself, your appearance, your how you come across to others, so your characteristics and your personality, your vitality. And it's also your self-oriented interests. So whatever that may be, it could even be a gym routine or something similar to that. It's also, the first house also rules your physical body, and just what you are projecting to others, how they perceive you. So, as I said, if you've got a strong ascendant in a different sign, well, then your ascendant will be quite strong. That's what most people will see up into your 40s, and then after that, your sun sign becomes stronger. So it's what others are perceiving, and what you are projecting outwards as well. So now with Yod, the Destiny card in there, I feel this is quite a tense aspect to be having, but it's a very pointed, sort of quite a strong energy, very tense energy, which is sort of bearing down on one single point. And because this is coming into your first house, so you're probably going to be feeling a little bit alone, like you don't have much support. Bear in mind that you don't actually necessarily need it at this time, but you just may be feeling a little bit out of step with others, feeling a little bit different from those around you, whether that's just the current energies or whether you are actually changing and perhaps growing, and so you just feel a little bit of out of step with those that you are surrounded with at this time. So I think what you perhaps have to do is just align yourself with like-minded people, rather than just going with the crowd or with those that you're so used to being around that you may just be feeling a bit uncomfortable, like you've outgrown them or something like that. So in order to harness the best of this energy, you need to streamline what you're doing. You need to focus on your best qualities and your truth. So it takes some introspection. It's going to be a little bit of pressure on you as well. You could be feeling like you're pioneering a bit. Perhaps you're working on a new physical regime, or you're having to work on how you come across to others. Perhaps you're required to do public speaking now or something like that, or you're needing to be in front of different sets of people. But you may just feel like you're sort of having to go it alone, and that you've just got to literally find your own guideline and just plod along, follow that as best you can. So it will feel a bit like pioneering. You may have solitary routines which are fully appropriate at this time. It's about harnessing the very best of you, and you may necessarily just need to work on your own at this time in order to bring that fully into realization. So when it comes to the actual physical body, you may just have a sort of flare-up of allergies, or some sort of immune disorder or dysfunction. So just be aware of that, especially if you've got a physical routine which you are currently following at this time. Then in the second house we have Mercury retrograde. This is reinvention. So Mercury is the mental sign, and it governs all kinds of electronics, vehicles, and communication of all kinds. So when it's retrograde, anything with a re in front of it, reinvention, there's lots of different words, anything with a re in front of it becomes relevant at this time, even relevant. So your second house is everything to do with your income, your money that's coming in. It's also to do with your possessions, what you own, and that can be land or property. And it's also your sense of self-worth and your values, your value system. So with Mercury retrograde coming in at this time, this is a period normally of about 3 weeks. Basically what it is, it's about going back to the drawing board. For whatever reason, that's what you're going to have to do in some way. So it's unpredictable circumstances. So what you may start or launch just will not go as planned. It may go horribly wrong, in fact. So you may just, it's actually a really good time to go over your plans again, to look at something that you're trying to do again. Because when you do that, when you go over it again, then you pick up errors or mistakes that could have been made, or miscommunications, or just misunderstandings, really. And then you get a chance to have a go at it again, and this time it will be much better. The second time round will be much better, and you'll get the result you want. But it's a kind of forces you to go back over what you've already done. So avoid purchases, big purchases, cars, any new financial endeavors. Avoid any of that during this period. As I said, miscommunication comes in here, misunderstandings. Also all your computers, any kind of software you need to back up, anything that has any kind of whether it's a computer or a laptop or a tablet or a cell phone, whatever, just back up all your important things, because it could just disappear or be stashed somewhere. You can't find it until later, and when you need it, you don't have it. So things just can go wrong, really, or disappear or get lost. This is the other thing. So it's also about, as I said, everything with a re in front of it. So if you purchase something, you may have to return it. It's about also revisioning something. So if you had a plan, you're going to have to go back to the drawing board and do it again, and it will be better the second time. This is also redo, renegotiate, release, reorganize. Corrections will have to be made to something that was done. So it could be a mistake and now it needs to be corrected. With this card, if none of those things apply to you, it can also be something to do with distractions. You can be really distracted at this time and not actually get to do what you need to do, or put in place something that you really need to do. So back to the drawing board with this. As I said, it could also be something to do with your self-worth or your value system. So it could be that you're possibly going to want to ask for a raise, or you just feel that you need to reorganize how you're charging for your time and so on. But it's a period of revision and redoing things. So what you set out to do, perhaps get somebody else to assist you, go over it again, check for mistakes, go through things. There will be misunderstandings, there will be miscommunication, so perhaps wait a wee bit until the energies have changed, and then you can move forward with that. In the third house, which is your house of communication, we have Capricorn IUs. So with your third house, this is everything to do with communication of all kinds. So whether this is verbal, written, it's also body language, how you express yourself. It also covers documents and contracts as well. So now with Capricorn IUs coming in there, you need to choose your words with care. Because when you choose your words with care, you're going to be planting seeds which will give you something, and will come back to you, will return to you very satisfactorily later on. But it's what you say now, how you put that into words, how you plant those word seeds, if I can put it that way. It's going to be important. What you say to others is going to be important, because that will yield results later on. This is about putting the work in now for fruition later. So it's also about being responsible about what you say and practical about what you say. And this applies to your contracts and documents as well. So whatever you're planting now, however you're putting it into words, is to do with the aim of yielding good results later. It's also about persevering with your goals. You're probably going to need to be resourceful. If you've got to, talk to others in some way, you need to do your research and really get the basics sorted out. Big dreams come with this card, but it must have a practical application. So you're going to have to work at it and really look at things and just sum it all up. Patience is required, and it's a slow progress. It's a slow moving energy. You're going to need to be methodical. It's also about meeting the right people at the right time. And these people are going to assist you in some way up the ladder, or they're going to assist you or support your goals. These are going to be very valuable contacts that you're making. So treasure them, honor them, because they're going to be important, in helping you now, which, as I said, will yield good results later. But they're going to be really valuable contacts for you to be making. This will also. This card is also about going by the rules. It's not about fantasies and big dreams with no solid foundation. This is solid. You've got to make solid plans, solid communications, and your documents must be based in methodical systems. All your systems must be in place. And you may even get a resolution or an answer to something. So whether that's verbal or written. This third house can also cover short trips. This is local trips around and about. And if that's a case, a mountainous area or, something like that could be very beneficial for you, or just a quick weekend away or something. And it could be, as I said, elevation, reaching a height of some sort, whether that's on a physical mountain or at a high point. It does elevate your thinking and it does give you clarity. So that would be helpful at this time. Then in your fourth house, you have Cancer, I feel. So this card, as it says, is everything to do with your feelings. So your fourth house is everything to do with your home, your physical home, and the atmosphere in your home, what's going on in your home, even the people in your home. And it's also to do with your roots, your foundation, your family tree, your ethnic identity, where you came from. So Cancerians are very clannish. They really like to keep their nearest and dearest close to them, and they don't necessarily like others coming in without being fully checked and sorted out in their minds. They like to make 100% sure that person is supposed to be there. So they can be very clannish. So you may be feeling like that about your home at this time, or the people in your home. So now it's always about what you feel, Cancer. What do I feel about my home, about the structure, about the actual interior? What do I feel? You may just be feeling very sensitive at this time in your home. You may be feeling quite nostalgic. You're sensitive to your surroundings. And with this card, you may just need to make your home your refuge, your place of safety. It's where you go to just be yourself and to retreat and withdraw and to sort of just have deep contemplation and think about what you want to do, assess your feelings, all of those things. It's creating a place of refuge and safety for yourself. You may want to be bringing artistic flair into your home, because Cancerians, this comes in there. So if you want to redecorate your home, bring in your own particular imaginative and artistic flair in there. As I said, make it your home, this is your home, your castle, where you go to be yourself and where you feel safe and happy, content. So the other side of that is perhaps you could do with a little bit of perhaps you're being overly nostalgic about some of the items in your home. Perhaps they just need to go now. You may need to have a bit of a declutter, or you could just be avoid hoarding, avoid keeping things in your home which don't serve a useful purpose, or don't have good vibes attached to it. So we all have them. Some things come to us from various family members, and you just haven't got good memories associated with that item. Get rid of it. Because you need to make your home your special place. And so there's no point in being nostalgic about certain items. If it really isn't you and is not making you happy, then you must get rid of it. On the other hand, it could also be that you're bringing antiques into your home and that you're actually enjoying sort of gathering items that have history and have a historical content as well. So it could also be that you are enjoying cookery in your home, or perhaps you need to do that, to cook more, to nurture yourself more, because cookery skills come in under Cancer as well. The other side of this card is that you may have a few domestic issues which require attention in some way. This can cover a great many things. It could just be domestic issues you need to deal with, or it could be a female in your home, or it could be a mother, or some sort of feminine influence, whether it's positive or negative, that's for you to decide. But women's issues and getting along may be an issue in your home. If that doesn't apply for you, then it could also be that there's a bit of loneliness and isolation. Maybe that's yourself or somebody in your home is feeling like that. And that will need to be dealt with. As I said, your family tree may come in there. Perhaps you have a mother or a mother-in-law or somebody like that coming to stay with you for a while. And it's all the emotions and everything else that comes with that. But whatever it is, you're going to be highly attuned to that person. You're going to be highly attuned to your environment. And if you do have somebody in your home and you're just finding it a little bit difficult, then possibly you just need to retreat periodically to your own space, just to reorientate your emotions and get yourself together. Because it could be sort of cycles and a bit of moodiness going on in your home. This can manifest in a great deal of ways. Then in the 5th house, we have Black Moon Lilith, which is a mystery. So now your 5th house is everything to do with your children. So it's your children or children that you are associated with at this time. And it's also the house of creativity, not necessarily artistic. Creativity can be many things. It can be, as I said, cookery. It could be creative art, something that you're doing, handcrafts. It could also be the way you speak, the way you dress. You can be very creative in that. So it covers all kinds of creativity. It also, the 5th house also covers love affairs, and it covers activities, fun, recreational activities of all kinds. It could even be sports. Okay, so now with Black Moon Lilith coming in there, this could, as I said, you'll have to see how it applies for you specifically, but it has got a feminine force. It's the strong feminine. It's also the darker feminine. So it's all the feminine mysteries coming in as well. But it could be complicated issues, perhaps either in your creative fields, something that perhaps you're doing, or it could be with your children, or your relationship with your children could be a bit complicated. Or it could be that your children are going through a little bit of a sticky patch, and it's your relationship with them. There's self-realization and accessing feminine strength in this card, but it's also birth. A birth could be imminent of some kind. It could even be an unplanned birth. But the darker side of this card covers things like sort of a woman that is perhaps you're having a sort of you're sort of in contact with them. So either it could be your children in contact with them, or you are seeing this through any one of the areas that I mentioned. So that's children, creativity, love affairs, or some kind of recreational activity. There could be somebody who feels slighted or is just angry and a bit bitter, or there could be bitchiness. Envy, revenge, and rebellion is also covered under this card. So you could be experiencing that in any one of those areas, or you could be being rebellious, or you could be having a sort of harboring, very negative emotions about a situation, and that needs to be addressed. You need to find a healthy outlet for that, or the people that you're involved with in any one of those areas may need a healthy outlet. As I said, there's a bit of a mystery involved. This could be an affair. It could be a seductive quality coming in if it's a love affair. There could also be a bit of stalking involved with this if it's to do with a love affair. Or you could be seeing one of your children involved in a love affair, and these aspects are coming in. But it also can cover that something is not revealed, something is not clear, something hasn't been brought to the light with this. So it could appear in any one of those houses, any one of those areas of this house. I mean, you could even be doing some sort of recreational activity or sporting activity, and you're seeing this in there. Or perhaps your children are doing that, and you're seeing that in amongst the peer group. That sort of envy and a bit of jealousy going on, or just deeper, darker emotions that are not being dealt with healthily. But really, the positive side of this is accessing creativity and beauty, and that's a strong feminine influence coming in there. So it could even just be you or your children, harnessing that and accessing the creative and beautiful side, and bringing perhaps the divine feminine in some way, reaching for the positive side of this. It could also be that a darker, a fairly mysterious or alluring female is entering in a love affair situation, and you're just not quite clear what it is about this person. Perhaps there's something that's not coming to the light yet. You just feel a little like on alert with them. Then in the 6th house, we have Grand Cross Provoker. So the 6th house is your house of work. It's the house of work projects, and that is also the house of your mastery of your craft, whatever it is that you do, and something that you've worked on, perhaps something that you specialize in. It's also the house of work colleagues and workplace, your sort of routines in association with that. It's also the house of health and diet, and it's the house of pets, your pets. So with this coming in, it's bringing tension and a bit of stress and a bit of overwhelm. You may feel like you're juggling a lot of things, and you could be juggling all your talents and skills, trying to actually make progress and feeling like you're getting nowhere. And that's because it's too many angles. There's too many hard angles coming at you all at once. And this creates sort of a bit of a cauldron of emotions and so on going on. So it's really, as I said, a lot of hard angles coming at you, but the pressure creates movement and change. That's really the point of this. And the only way to overcome all of this, when things are coming at you from all different angles, the best way to deal with it is to focus on your very top priorities. So you must prioritize, but only your very top priorities, and let go of the rest. So prioritize, get organized, and communicate about what it is that you're trying to do. Because often when you're under stress and you're feeling overwhelmed, your communication skills take a nosedive. You actually really need to be clear about what you can and can't do and how much you can actually deal with. So focus, stay present, and narrow down what it is that you're dealing with. And you're going to be going through a period of perhaps frustration, but once you've gone through that, it brings about growth and then renewal. So you just need to keep going through that, because if you keep going and apply yourself, you will have that long-lasting success. The other thing with this, with the health side of it, is obviously with all the overwhelm and the stress, you may just be needing to look after your health, stress relief, doing other activities just to take your mind off things, and rest, and just gather your strength, and rest, energize yourself in healthy ways. And also eat properly, because if you're going to be under such stress, you may just, as I said, eat badly or not eat set meals, which can also, bring about all its own sets of issues. Then in the 7th house, we have Neptune sacrifice. So with this card coming in, it has two aspects to it, which you can see how this is coming in for you. But the 7th house is everything to do with your close personal one-on-one relationships. So this is your love relationship or a business partnership, or it could be, as I say, a close personal relationship. And this deals with what it's doing. The positive aspects of this is compassion, sense of oneness. You could even be having a really divine love connection come into your life. And That's rare, but it does happen, and you may be one of those that's experiencing that. And it's also about beauty and imagination. It's also about the arts, the film world, everything to do with film. It's dreams, it's glamour. So everything to do with that. It can also be escapism of all kinds. So you may be meeting somebody who's in that world, or you could be getting into a business partnership with where it has all of those aspects. Perhaps it's arty, or there's a film involved, filmmaking, and it could be glamorous, or it could just be that you're harnessing, the arts and beauty in all of its forms in this partnership. Or, as I said, it could be somebody coming into your life who has these qualities. The other side of this is going into a relationship where you perhaps have a lack of boundaries. You need to actually put boundaries in. You could be feeling a little bit confused about some things. Your way is not clear. Things are not as they seem. So you're not clear about what needs to be done, or perhaps just elements of this personality. You may also need to make a sacrifice of some sort. It's usually ego, sacrifice of the ego, but it could also be personal time and space. And game playing could also come into this. So yeah, you've got to, and self-sabotage, that's the other aspect on this. It's, the sign of self-undoing. Neptune rules Pisces, which is this sign of self-undoing. So you could be building something and then undoing it because of your behavior in some way. So just be aware of the two sides of that. If it is a lovely connection coming into your life, well, that's wonderful. But it could also be bringing those elements into an existing relationship as well. Then in the 8th house, we have Grand Trine Blessings, lovely card. So this is your 8th house, is everything to do with big finance. So this is it's accounting, it's banking, it's investments, insurance, tax, and legacies and inheritances, if that applies to you. So it's everything to do with that. It's also the deeper material and emotional resources that are shared between partners. So whether that's a love partner or a business partner, it's also the sexual connection between you. It's also, the 8th house also deals with other people's money. So whether you're handling other people's money or you're involved with other people's money, it covers that. It's also, it's a powerhouse. Something could be ending and something could be beginning. But in any case, this Grand Trine Blessings comes in for you. And so this is going to bring in a time of ease and grace and harmony, good luck. And you'll find that difficulties will be lifted. And you'll feel like you're in the right place at the right time. And opportunities will come to you, so you must follow them. Not all of them may come through for you, but you must follow them all in order to find the one that's right for you. Go with the flow, move with the current, but still steer your ship. You still have to work at whatever comes to you at this time. You can't rest on your laurels and think, oh, I'll do it another time, or I'll wait, or things are just so great at the moment, I'm just going to take a break. No, you still have to steer your ship. You still have to make the opportunities work for you, whatever comes to you. So don't become complacent. You still have to be diligent and work towards what you want. It could also be that you meet or you come into contact with a really great partner, whether that's a love partner or a business partner, which again was indicated already in your 7th house. So this will be a deepening of that. If that is the case for you, then it's a deepening of that. This goes to the next level, really. It's all your shared, the merging of your finances and your resources. It's also, you could also be very well received in financial endeavors. Any kind of financial sort of endeavor that you're going for, whether it's a business or something that you want to start yourself and you need to go and apply for finance and so on, you will be well received with this card at the time. Then in the 9th house, we have North Node, Life's Purpose, another lovely card. So you are a Sagittarian, so 9th house is your house. With this coming in, when I was looking at it earlier on, journalism sprang to mind, because This card has that flavor about it, whether that applies to you or not. But the ninth house deals with travel and exploration. This is international travel. This is not local trips. This is across water. It's international. So it's international travel. It's also exploration. It's adventure. It's also dealing with anything foreign, whether it's a foreign culture or a foreign person or people, or just places, or to do with countries as well. So it could also be an import-export business, something like that. But it's basically the world is coming to you, or you are going to the world. The ninth house also covers publishing, public promotions, and it covers teaching of all kinds. It also covers religion and philosophy. It also covers higher education. So this is university level or adult education. It also covers the law. So with this, it's a very broad house, but it's about gaining wisdom in all of those areas. You could just be really going on a wonderful trip of some sort. But with the North Node coming in there, this is wonderful karmic rewards coming back to you. This is reward for efforts that you've put in other lifetimes. It's karmic rewards coming to you now. It's also about finding your life path. It's also about getting on with elements that are vital to you in this lifetime. So as I said, if you're interested in writing, and it's a career in any one of those fields, it could be philosophy or journalism or religion, or even, as I said, your university education or a course of study that you want to do. It's very strongly indicated because it's about the world as well. So this is freedom to explore. Coming into your ninth house, it's expansion. It's about focusing your talents and skills in this area. It's really good karma coming back to you. Doors opening. Your path is now seen. Now you can see your path. It's destiny. There's a fated quality to this. So whatever it is that's coming to you is meant for you. There's a lot of potential and purpose and fulfillment with this card. Also, you will maybe very well be connecting with your soul family. These are people that you feel deeply connected to in some way. They're either coming to assist you, or you're going to be meeting them in some way, shape or form, but you're going to feel deeply connected to them, and you're going to really feel like things are falling into place for you. It also may bring in a business opportunity for you as well. It's a very good time to be starting a business with this in. So taking into account what we've already discussed, just bear in mind that an opportunity may come up, whether you explore it immediately or you just put procedures in place and then go for it when you feel ready. It's about getting on path as well. And if it's a trip, an international trip, which is quite likely, it will bring a lot of freedom and, as I said, exposure to foreign things, foreign people, and you may even meet people over there that you feel deeply connected with. But you may even be given a gift of a trip with this. But it indicates fulfillment for you in some way. Then in the 10th house we have Virgo. I analyze. Your 10th house is everything to do with your career, your ambitions. It's also the house of authority figures. It's also the house of fame and reputation and your public status. So that could be, you could go from an employee to a business owner, or the other way around, or you could go from married to divorced. That's a change in public status. So this house covers all of those areas. So with Virgo, I analyze coming in there. Basically what you need to do is you need to, particularly with what it is you're trying to, wherever it is that you're trying to lead yourself to, wherever you're trying to get to, so your ambitions, your career and so on, you need to get organized. You need to declutter and you need to prioritize. Now that came in already in your 6th house. So you need to look at the details. Sagittarians are sometimes a little bit, they tend to overlook the details in some ways. So you can't do that now at this time in this house. You need to really analyze what it is that you need to do. And the quickest way to do that is to get organized, get rid of what is working and what is not working. So go with what's working, harness that, make it a priority, and then release what is not working for you. It could also be that if there's a change of profession coming up for you, with Virgo coming in, it's about being helpful to others. So it could be the service industry, or it could be the helping profession. So whether that's doctors, nurses, and so on, or some other way of helping others. It's also, this card also covers health and diet. So whether that's a career aspect for you, or nutrition comes in, writing comes in, and teaching comes in. So all of those come in under Virgo. But Virgons are fastidious about what they're doing, and they like to plan, and they like to have things organized around them. So you may need to bring that in to get onto whatever it is that you want to do. The other side of this is criticism and worry. So whether you are criticizing others and worrying about things, or whether you are the subject of that, that is another aspect of this. You could also have a authority figure in your life who is Virgoan or has Virgo qualities, and they will be precise, they will be detailed, and they may very well be critical of you. And as I said, they're fastidious. They like to have things clear, and they like to have a plan. So embody those qualities in your ambitions at this time. Then in the 11th house, we have lunar eclipse change. So your 11th house is everything to do with your friendships. It's also to do with your networks, any groups that you're a member of, associations, societies, anything like that where you're one of a group of people. It could even be a book club. With this card coming in, there's going to be change, and it may be abrupt and it may be swift. The initial upheaval may be like that, and then over a period of 6 weeks to sort of 6 months, you will start to see the changes unfolding. But the initial bump could very well be unexpected for you. Having said that, some things also may have been requiring change, and you've just done nothing about it, or you've been unable to do anything about it, but it will bubble over with this card in place. So it's almost like inevitable change coming for you. So if you are aware of something that needs to be sorted out, do your best to do it straight away, get it done. Otherwise, it will bubble over, and it will be harder to deal with under those circumstances. So it's a change of some sort. There could be cycles. Don't put off what needs to be done. There could be upheaval and transformation of some sort. Something could come out into the open as well, something that wasn't perhaps clear before. Well, it comes out now. It could be female or feminine influences as well, which has come up elsewhere in your chart today. So it could be that a friendship is going through some sort of metamorphosis, or some sort of change, or some sort of cycle. So you and a female are locked in some kind of situation, or it could be you are a member of a group and there's a feminine influence or a female in there, and you're seeing the changes and cycles that are going on within the group. It could also be that you're tuning into global or group consciousness, social reform and causes, and there may be a strong female influence in that as well. And you may want to join groups or get into a network of some sort where those issues are covered. But whatever it is, it will go through phases of the moon, and there will be cycles, but the change is inevitable there. There will be some sort of upheaval. Whether a friendship is changing and leaving, or it's endings and beginnings. So an ending followed by a beginning of some sort. But it will be, it's inevitable, and it will be, if you don't move to change it yourself, then it will bubble over and will require abrupt upheaval of some sort. Then in the 12th house, we have Saturn return age. The 12th house is your unconscious beliefs, your unconscious drives and motivations. It's also the house of retreat and deep contemplation, understanding yourself at a really deep level. All kinds of psychic abilities fall under this house as well. But it is also the house of spiritual life, meditation, mysticism, and healing. The other side of it is escapism, drugs and addiction, resolutions and endings. It's also the house of karmic debts, and the house of your experiences in institutions of all kinds. So, so this could be nursing homes, hospitals, libraries, banking institutions. It can also be university. It can be any kind of a government institution. It can be any kind of institution. It's your experience in those places, whether it's you going there for whatever reason or you're going with somebody to those institutions, and it's your experiences there. All right. So now the 12th house, Saturn return age. This is about understanding. This is about wisdom through experience, because it's a return. So Saturn is slow moving, right? Saturn has two major returns in most lifetimes. One at the age of about 29, the next one is just before around 60. So if that, you may not be at that period, but it has a feel of Saturn return about it. So this is about understanding your age and understanding your wisdom, and perhaps gaining deep understanding about something in any one of those areas that I've mentioned. And it's also about karmic lessons. So you may just be having to let go of something old, and let go of old beliefs or old attitudes. And it's also about facing a few home truths. You're going to have to face a few things. Some things may come back to you, in other words, from a past event that just wasn't handled correctly. Perhaps you just weren't mature enough to handle it, or you didn't know how to handle it, or matters were out of your hands. And it comes back around again, and now you have to deal with a similar situation. Go about it with absolute responsibility, fairness, and follow the rules, because then you will get somewhere with that issue. Because if you handle it carelessly, or you try to bury it, or you try to put it on the back burner, it won't work, not with this card in place. You're going to have to deal with whatever it is that may come up for you. It's about being responsible. It's about streamlining as well, streamlining your attitudes, your beliefs, and anything that's holding you back. Anything that has held you back in the past, or that you feel uncomfortable about now, you need to deal with it. It's also about being practical. So whatever it is you want to do, whether you want to embark on some sort of spiritual study, or you want to do a form of healing, or you just want to go on a retreat or withdrawal, it's about really getting to grips with the basics and the practical side of things. You'll have to work at it as well. There's no quick fix with this card. It indicates slow but steady progress. It's also about putting the past behind you in some way. So, it could just be something that has come back to you now, or something that bothered you, perhaps when you were younger, or at an earlier stage in your life. Just dealing with it. And Saturn will give you the strength. Saturn will definitely give you the strength to do that, but you've got to work with Saturn. That means you've got to apply yourself, you've got to face various things, and you must deal with what needs to be done in a practical and slow fashion. There's no quick fix, there's no getting around it. You've got to actually be very practical and methodical about what you do. As I said, if you've got a female influence, has come up in your home, and it came up in your 11th house. Perhaps there's this female influence there, perhaps it's a mother or a mother-in-law or something, and you're having to visit a nursing home or some kind of institution to do with this person. It's about age as well. You may just be seeing things to do with aging. It has influences like that. And the time indication for this card is normally December, Jan. Okay, Sagittarius, I hope you have a fabulous month, and take care, and I will see you next time.